welcomed me, and of course you're all absolutely gorgeous. So I have to step up my game a little bit. For the image, because I have to step up my game. So welcome. Tonight, indeed, we are here to talk about sales, selling, and booking clients. Is that a topic of interest to anyone here? Yes. Show of hands. Yes. Okay. So I like to think that effective selling has a lot to do with confidence. Would you agree? And I would love to make this as interactive as possible. However, I know I do need to be mindful of the time because I'm not the only thing on the agenda tonight. So I want to interact with you, and we will keep it moving so that I can certainly be respectful of the rest of your agenda. Does that make sense? Right. So thinking about selling and thinking about confidence, what would it mean to you if, and how would your life change if your inner confidence, what was inside of you, matched the same as what you were exuding? In other words, sometimes we're really not as confident inside as we appear to be. I see some heads nodding. There are expressions like fake it till you make it, or just keep doing it. What would it mean to you if it all matched? Really quickly, who has any thoughts on this?
It would be the shortest path to success, money, or revenue, business.
Wow. The shortest path to success, revenue. Does everybody pretty much agree with that? I think that's a really great observation, because if we indeed feel the same way inside as we are projecting outwardly, then we've got it, right? We're rock solid. We're strong. I like to say we got a little swag. We got a little mojo. So what does it mean then in terms of sales confidence? So what I did here was I thought about my 30-year career in sales, and I took perhaps some of the 5 top skills that you need in order to sell effectively, and I put them up here. So for example, number 1, in sales conversations, I know what questions to ask and how to ask them. Asking appropriate sales questions helps you really uncover what's going on with your client, right? So asking would be a skill that you need to have. Who here feels really solid and comfortable in asking those sales questions? Show of hands. And this is not to embarrass anyone, but I'd like to know where you all are at so that I can help you. So I saw a few hands. Maybe I would say maybe about 5% of you feel that you're really comfortable. What about knowing how to get people to lean in with interest? Now, this to me speaks to being able to make your sales meetings and booking your appointments when they're all about them and really less about what you have. So you're asking questions to uncover what it is that they want to know, what's really burning for them that you can solve. So who feels really comfortable with getting people to lean in? All right, just a few hands. How about uncovering unseen issues and problems? So these are the things that perhaps your clients are not really telling you, but because you're an expert at what you do and you're able to spot trends, you're able to connect the dots for them. And this is important, I like to say, because it really speaks to thought leadership and your position as an expert in what you do. So who's comfortable with the third one? Uncovering those unseen issues and problems that might have to do with image. And okay, again, just a few. How about moving from my client's problems to my solution? And that's really the beauty of where the sale really happens, isn't it? It's, again, connecting the dots so that you're able to move that conversation in a really logical way that doesn't feel icky and yucky and salesy, right? So who's comfortable with that? Okay, again, very few. I'd say maybe 5% of you. And who here is comfortable closing, asking for the business, asking for the money, asking for commitment? Does anybody like doing that? Or you feel a little like that cringe-worthy moment? Okay, I'm going to ask, I wonder what they're going to say. Yeah, it can definitely be a little bit unnerving, but you do it over and over and over again. I like to say effective selling is like going to the gym. You have to flex that ask muscle every single day. All right, so you with me so far? So here's where I am going to take you tonight. Lisa, this map of Manhattan is just for you, my friend. I would like to ensure that your sales conversation matches the professionalism of your image consulting business, right? So that way, indeed, you are projecting the inside and the outside and they match. I also want to talk a little bit about the things that women happen to do that rob our power. And I know you know these things. That's why I say raise awareness. We want to just bring them to the forefront so that we're more aware and that we can stop doing these things. And then I want you to gain some tools to sell yourself, even if you don't really like self-promotion. Does that sound like we're in the right place? Excellent. All right. So when you think of selling, what are some of the emotions that come up for you? Go ahead, just yell them out. What comes up for you?
Pressure.
Pressure.
Car salesman.
Car salesman. Yeah, we think about that guy with the loud jacket who's in your face and he makes you feel as though you have to sign, right? What else? What else?
Run the other way.
Yeah, we want to run away from that. Anybody else? How about anybody over here? What does it make you think of when you think about sales or the stereotypical salesperson?
Pushy.
Yes, they're pushing and sometimes obnoxious, right? Yeah.
Features, benefits.
Yes, okay, so it's very feature, benefit laden, but not really connecting the dots for you as to how you individually and personally can benefit. I have a real problem with some of that type of selling. So yeah, we might often think of the people who call us at home when you're just about to sit down to dinner and the phone rings and it's somebody on the phone selling something, right? So they're intrusive, they're barged right in to your inner sanctum and they want you to buy. So this word collage indeed talks about some of those things that we feel, something I don't want. They're just trying to push something on me. They're not hearing what I'm saying that I really need. So I think what happens to us when we think about sales is we don't want to be this. Does that make sense? And so we might run so far in the opposite direction to not be this, but the thing is that you still have to honor your business and serve your customer and serve you, right? It's a business. We want to make money at what we do. Otherwise, frankly, it's just an expensive what? Hobby. Yes. So I love this quotation. I like to say it's $1 million quotation. And one of my favorite mentors, Patricia Fripp, who is a world champion of public speaking. Sharon knows Patricia Fripp. She said, life is a series of sales situations. So every single day, you are selling yourself, your ideas, and your value. What do you think about that? Do you think there's some truth to that?
Yeah.
Yes. And you are in the business of image, right? So your very essence, when you walk into a room, has got to make a positive impact. Would you agree? Because actually, if I'm looking to hire you, I'm looking. So we were talking earlier, 7 seconds goes by really fast, and I've made the decision whether or not I want to engage or disengage with you. Yes. So who am I? Why am I qualified to come here to New York City and help you with this? Well, indeed, I'm Casey Carpenter. I am the Sales Confidence Mentor, and I attract women entrepreneurs who love what they do, but they do not like the sales part. And what I do is I work with them to craft effective messaging, some sales process, because very often we're so enthused about what we do. We're out running around networking and collecting business cards, and then we get home and say, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to be doing with these cards? And is there a process? How do I move this from business card collection to conversation to close? So I work to help instill a sensible process that you would follow. And indeed, women have worked with me and closed 6-figure and 5-figure deals. Here's one of them. I'm so proud. Barbara Hemphill, actually, for those of you who were in the webinar yesterday, it happened to have been her company. So I was promoting a webinar about organizing, and it was her business. Barbara came to me because she wanted to learn how to ask better sales questions. Very talented lady, in her business 35 years. I thought, what could I possibly help her with? But indeed, when she asked questions, it was more like popcorn. So we worked together to really streamline her process and to stick with one particular subject, and she became so good at it. Indeed, she sells high-ticket items and closed a $40,000 sale, which I was very proud of her. Corporate experience, I've worked for a couple of large companies in sales, various sales roles, sales training, sales leadership, mostly healthcare organizations, as you can see. But you know what, ladies, it wasn't always like that. I had some very quiet and shy and humble beginnings. So I am an introvert. So this should be the meeting. Hello, I'm Casey, and I'm an introvert. And I'm a shy introvert, which is a double dose. Shyness is, if you've read the books by Susan Cain, you know that it is almost a social anxiety. And when I started my business and I had to go networking and meet people I didn't know, indeed, I would have to give myself a pep talk. Okay, you're going to get out of the car, you're going to go upstairs, they're going to be nice, you're going to shake hands warmly. So what I'm helping you with tonight are things that I use in my life every single day. Yes, painfully shy and introverted. I was usually the kid who sat in the corner and read a book. Failed miserably at my first sales job. Oh my gosh, I was crying every day. It was terrible. I didn't know you need to love your product. Have the passion for what you do, as I've seen with so many of you here tonight. What I learned from that miserable experience was that I needed some help. I needed a process, I needed training, coaching, and mentoring. And when I got that, I did really well. So that got me thinking about my own business as a business coach. And if I can take people by the hand, give them a defined process, they too can do very well. I break it down for you. So I like to think of what I do as it's at the intersection of speaking and selling. So this is for you tonight if you would like to communicate more assertively. If you don't feel your inner and outer confidence mirror each other and you want to work on that, and if you're also looking for some structure in your sales process. Is there anybody here tonight like that? Yes, awesome. I'm in the right place. So let's talk about some unique challenges that we have as women in the workforce. We came into the workforce a little bit later than men, I would say, right? We pretty much started coming onto the scenes in the 1970s. Men already had a head start on us. They had been working for years. I would like to say, you know, the Industrial Revolution, so they were very comfortable with office politics, kind of schmoozing, hey, how you doing, you know, that kind of thing. And it works for them. Here we are now just getting a seat at the table, and very often I'll say, you know, we're getting our seat at the table, and someone will say, Casey, we're not even there yet. 1970, women earned 59 cents on the dollar compared to what a man made. Now we're up to 77 cents. So we're getting there, but I say, why isn't it equal? When we're certainly as brilliant and talented as guys are. So on that note, it could be because we have adopted ways of communication that don't serve us. Has anyone heard of the book by Patty Kay and Claire Shipman called The Confidence Code? Anybody heard of that book? Wonderful book. I encourage you to pick it up. What it talks about is that there actually appears to be a gap, a confidence gap in terms of women's communication, where very often we're given opportunities to reach higher, to ask for a promotion in the workplace, or maybe even to start your own business. And we don't because we don't think we can. So I encourage you tonight to just try to set that paradigm aside. If you are going through anything like that, you have a wonderful organization here, and I say yes, you can. You can certainly do it. You can achieve and excel. 7 deadly communication sins or something that can happen when we are worried about our confidence, or we're just not feeling as rock solid as we could. First of all is saying, I'm nervous. What do you think about that? If you're maybe presenting, or if you're meeting with a client, you've booked a meeting and you sit down and you say, I'm nervous. Do we need to do that? No, we don't. Because within a matter of seconds, the nervousness is going to dissipate, it will go away, and you know what you know. That's why you're experts at what you do. So if you breathe deeply, it will just go away. We don't need to say that, right? Fiddling around, so fiddling is what we might do when we are so nervous that the adrenaline hijacks our body. We feel like we've drunk a whole pot of coffee. We don't know what to do with ourselves. Now, when we had to survive when we lived in caves, that was very useful because we had to outrun predators like woolly mammoths that would come after us. But if you are seated across from a prospective client, is it appropriate to really have this reaction? Not really, because we're not in fight or flight or fleeing. So what happens is the body processes it. Your body doesn't know what to do, and we start moving around. So I like to say, plant your feet, keep your hands above the table if you're seated, and that way you can slow the action down and control what it is that you're saying. And you also get more into your body and out of your head. Minimizing is, oh my goodness, I went to a women's leadership conference. It was wonderful. I was so excited about the keynote speaker. They read a glowing bio, so I'm like, wow, this is really going to be great. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. She gets up out of her chair, takes the podium, goes behind the lectern, and says, wow, that was such an amazing bio. I was wondering who they were talking about. It's right. Sometimes we inadvertently, I don't know if it's modesty or false modesty, but we diminish our power and we take it right away, because I felt that what she had done was all of that really good build-up and edification, and just went away when she said that. So own it, right? Step into your power and own that bad boy. Body language. Now, I don't have to tell you this, but sometimes there are things that we do with our body language that is distracting. Comes from that drinking that pot of coffee, jiggling your knee under the table, right? So be aware of how you might look. When you're not speaking, your body is, right? So we just need to have that awareness. What about perfume, clothing? I don't need to say too much about that. As long as we're always appropriate, you know better than I what would be appropriate in terms of those things. Apologizing. Well, sorry, all the way home. I like to say the only time it's appropriate to say sorry is when you stepped on someone's foot. And then you can apologize and move on. But we don't really need to go on and on and on, right? So is any of this landing for anybody here? At one time, I've done all of these. I just want to say, hopefully not all at once. But yeah, they happen. And they happen because we do get nervous, right? The last one, failing to be a thought leader or an expert. Well, in your opinion, what's a thought leader? What is that?
If you could articulate what's going on in your industry, and make it relevant to the group.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it can be a challenge, right? Thought leadership certainly asks that we be up on top of current trends and that we know what's going on in our business. And then we kind of synthesize that information through our own little filter and deliver that to our prospective clients or our customers. It's your take on it, right? And that's what makes it so awesome. It's what you think, your brilliance. So not bringing that along with you is a disservice to your customer, because what they're looking for nowadays is for us to be experts, for us to bring something different, unique, sparkling. In fact, I would like to say that they like edutainment, right? They want to be educated. educated, and they also want it in an entertaining way. Very interesting selling out here nowadays. So I promised you 3 secrets, right? There are many more, but we're not going to have time to go into all of them tonight, so we'll start with the top 3. I like to say reboot your voice. Very often when we are nervous or we're feeling challenged, the first place it's reflected is in the voice. Anybody get that shaky, quavery voice? And you're like, who is this speaking? This isn't me. Yes, so I'm going to say reboot that voice. And here are the 7 steps. Call upon your inner leader. Everybody has one. Anybody here have a brother or a sister who used to pick on you when you were growing up? Or just maybe neighborhood kids, and you said, hey, cut it out! So that was your inner leader, maybe when you were younger. So how can you bring that person forth now and come from a position of strength? That's what I'd like you to think about when you think about your voice. It should be resonant, which is your best voice. Drink plenty of water, breathe, so that your voice really amplifies your power when you're sitting down with that customer. Remember, they're looking at you, and they're taking cues from you, because you are all about helping them build their brand, their image, their event, whatever it is that you've been hired to do. Project, of course, we already know that. I like to say slow the action down, because when nerves happen, we start speeding up. Some of us who are more extroverted even talk really fast, and we have run-on sentences. So take that breath and slow that action down. Lower your pitch. So what do I mean by lower your pitch? Do you notice that I'm speaking in a rather low tone, meaning not up here, but it's low and resonant. It's pleasant to listen to, and it makes you in control. You will dominate that meeting because you're rock solid. And then concentrate on one thought at a time. What's that mean to you? Anybody have a mind that races? Yes. It's hard to slow that down, right? Does anyone here meditate? You're into yoga? They call it the monkey mind because it goes all over the place. And like, wait a minute, I started out thinking this. How did I get here? So a technique that you can use is to breathe in, to just slow that down and concentrate. Be so present and in the moment that you're thinking one thing at a time. It's comforting to be in someone's presence when they're present. You know when they're not, right? It's like the lights are on, but no one's home. Little Robert Palmer for you. So secret number 2 is your language. I love, 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 love this quotation, and I thought it would be appropriate for you too. Judith Humphrey wrote a fabulous book. I ask you to pick up this book. It is called Taking the Stage. It is a useful book for anyone, especially if you're a woman, if you want to excel in your career. And this is what she says. Choosing our language is like choosing our clothes. Kind of makes sense, right? Go into the closet, we're very mindful about what we're putting on, so I think we need to have that same mindfulness about what we're saying. We wear our words. We need to prune our wardrobe and get rid of those words that don't make us look and sound smart, confident, and capable. What do you think about that? It's pretty awesome, isn't it? So I coined a term that I call speech capsules that I'm going to share with you a little later on. And I might have been looking through a catalog or something like that, and I heard that there's something called wardrobe capsules, right? So the idea would be, you just, go to your closet or your armoire, and you pick out your hanger, and bing, everything is all assembled for you. Well, what if you could do that with words? Would that be cool? So that anytime you are in a situation where you might feel a little unsure, you just go right to your brain and pull out that capsule, and it is there for you. It does take practice, but it can be done. Yes, yes.
What are some of the words? I do understand exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
It's
very benign, except we don't want to be ordinary. We want to use language that is forthright and direct. That's what gets results. It's not wishy-washy, it's not sort of kind of. So here are some. Women very often want to be collaborative. We want to bring people in. We want everyone to be happy. So sometimes we ask permission instead of making a statement. Is it okay if I bring Yolanda to the meeting tonight? Or I brought Yolanda to the meeting tonight because I knew she would make an incredible contribution. You hear the difference? Yes. Constantly apologizing, I think we touched on that one already. Just once and done. If you really, stepped on someone's toe, then you can certainly say you're sorry. Power stealers. Those are some of those behaviors I talked about earlier. And when we're standing and speaking, it gets really interesting. We get a little cha-cha-cha going because, again, we're nervous. You might see people who walk around a lot when they speak because the body is full of adrenaline. They don't know what else to do. Rather than planting those feet and standing and delivering from a position of power. How about, I hope so, think so, I'll try. Sounds very tentative, right? What about I will? I'm convinced. And I love I recommend. When you say to a client, well, I recommend this option for you, because knowing your particular situation, this is going to get you where you want to go. Recommending really speaks to your expertise in something. What do you think? How many of you are going to start saying, I recommend? It rocks. It does. It really, really rocks. Rambling remarks in too much detail can happen when we're nervous. And again, if you may be a little more extroverted, you tend to talk when you're nervous. I'm a clam. I said I'm an introvert. If somebody asks me something and I don't know, I go, whoop. You don't hear a peep out of me because I'm thinking. I'm thinking before I speak. So if this is you and you tend to speak first and then process, just be mindful that if asked a question and you get a little thrown, you can always do a grounding statement and a 3-point summary. What in the world is that? Grounding statement means that you take a moment to pause and to breathe and ground the situation. Oh, you were asking a question about next Tuesday's event, is that right? So you know that that's what you heard, but you want to verify that with them. Yes, that's what I wanted to know. Oh, okay, well here's what I can share with you about that. 1, 2, 3, ABC, 3 points. We learned that in Toastmasters. It works. A lot of what I learned in Toastmasters works. Now, some of you may disagree with me on that, but I'm going to be a little controversial. What about if you're meeting with a prospective client and the first thing you say is, thank you for meeting with me today. Thank you for your time. What do you think about that? Is that the most powerful expression you can use? Okay, good. I'm glad you agree. Someone gave me some pushback about that. They said, no, we like thank you. I don't mean to say that you shouldn't thank people and be appreciative. What I mean is that you want to just be careful about appearing subservient. And if the first thing I say is, oh, thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you for your time today. I'm so happy we got a chance to get together. It's a bit much. So instead, what if I say, you know what, I am so excited about our discussion today. I did some research, and I think you're really going to like what I have to offer. Powerful, right? It's great that we could get together. So, of course, going down to the bottom, upspeak. What's upspeak?
Somebody pitch.
Kind of.
Oh, ending with a question?
Ending everything that you say with a question. Like, why would I want to do something like that? Because I don't know. It seems to happen a lot in America. It seems to be a trend. So when you're ending every sentence on and up, it sounds like you're hesitant or you're asking a question. Let your voice go down at the end of the sentence, commanding. So, how can we do all of this and position ourselves as experts sell without being salesy. That's what we don't want, right? Remember the slide with the word collage and all of those words that we didn't like? How can we put this all together? I'm going to share that with you now. I would like to say position yourself as the knowledgeable expert at all times. That's such a wonderful strengthening place for you to come from. And then create those speech capsules that I talked about earlier. I'm going to give you some examples. I like to say that the way that you open a sales meeting is really critical. It sets the tone, doesn't it? I like to say use powerful openers. And I will invite you to take this and really craft it for the way that you would talk. Craft it for your own business. But how would something like this sound to you? Well, my expertise in image consulting tells me, ... And you can use this when you're responding to a question or when you're leading out on your sales call. My expertise in branding is why I'm qualified to do this work for you. Now, so for example, here's some of the work that I've done, A, B, and C. Does that sound pushy, obnoxious, salesy?
No.
No, it sounds like someone who's really confident, right? Let's try another one. I really like this because there's nothing so powerful as third-party proof. Someone else who has said that you've done something well. So how about this? Let me share with one of my clients let me share what one of my clients accomplished as a result of my recommendations. There's that word again. So someone else did something, they implemented your suggestion, and it really worked. And that's how to toot your horn in a really non-salesy professional way. My last client stated that I excel in design, and it's one of my core strengths, so when we work together, here's what you can expect. What do you think? You like it? Okay, good. And there's more. Research, of course, is critical. So when you're meeting, you're always preparing. I know that you're doing this. You're looking people up on Google, researching their company, looking at the website, LinkedIn, newspapers. I like to do exhaustive research because I feel more confident when I do that. So let them know, right? You cared enough to research them. I did some research on your brand, and I know how important managing your image is to you. So because of my ability to spot trends in fashion, I'm really excited about our discussion today. So again, you may not say it exactly the way I do, but could this be useful to you in your business when you're sitting down? Good. All right. How are we doing on time?
Fine.
Okay, excellent. I like to say your close, the way you end your meeting, is just as important as the way you begin. So of course, there's all of what happened in the middle that we're not going to cover tonight, that we won't have time to cover tonight. But the close is so important because very often we get a little hung up anticipating that it's coming, and that's where we're asking for commitment. It could be for a contract to be signed. It could be for a check. It could be for them to take the next step. And what I want to do is make you much more comfortable when you have to do that. It can be for me, is a long close. It's a couple of sentences, but it doesn't have to be a lot. So it could be, do you like what I've shown you today? Great. Well, based on what you said you'd like to accomplish, it would make sense to start sooner rather than later, don't you think? How's that feel for you if you were to suggest that to someone? What are you typically saying when you close? I'm curious. A couple of examples. Who'd like to volunteer and share with us? Yes, thank you. Yes, yes.
I get out my agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we put something on our agendas?
I love it.
Shall we pencil it in?
Should we pencil it in?
And we'll confirm next week.
And we'll confirm next week. Should
Or
we,
whatever.
or
Don't
should we
even say
put
that.
it on our calendars? I like that because you're getting a definitive next step. Who else? Who else has an example? Does Does this mean that no one's asking for the business? No? Okay. So that was the long one, and here's the short one. What do you think? Do my recommendations make sense? Great. When would you like to get started? Simple, right? And very often, this is the part that trips us up the most, because emotionally we're thinking about whatever it might be. It might be the responsibility of another client. It might be the money. It might be whatever, wherever your mind goes. So what I'm hoping to do is keep you grounded in the ask. Make sense? You guys are awfully quiet. Are you with me? All right. It can be. It can be. It can be a lot. And that's why I know it's 40 minutes, but I'm hoping to break it down into sections so that you can do this. And if not, don't worry. I have a way to stay connected afterwards that you might find helpful. All right, so I didn't have a fourth secret, but if I did, it would be to ask really good questions. Be wildly curious about them and their situation, their issues, their problems, how you can help, what you can resolve for them. I like to say, once you've asked a question, resist the temptation to keep talking. Silence is okay, because some people need time to process, right? And they're thinking. You know, if your question is so creative, it could be that no one's ever asked them this before. So they're like, you know what, I gotta think about that for a minute. I'm really not sure. Listen, of course, take notes. So that means no chattering, even though it might be so uncomfortable, you're really squirming. Oh, when are they gonna answer? Just breathe. Yeah, Sharon.
Yeah, Casey, no, this just reminds me, because when I first started my business and I had some, advice from people, and someone told me when we were talking about, how to close a deal, they said,
Yeah.
oh, the person that speaks first loses.
I have heard that.
But I mean, it's true. It's you say these things and then you just have to.
You really do.
And then they speak, and more often than not, they'll push on the calendar or whatever you're asking for.
Yes.
That's my experience.
I like that story, and I often think that sometimes we end up in a better situation just by being quiet.
Mhm.
You don't know what they're thinking, so they might offer you something even better than you had in mind. It's like, ooh, good thing I didn't say anything. This is awesome. You never know.
It's true.
Yeah, so it is a good practice to just sit quietly and wait, and they will speak. So yeah, it could be the first time that they were ever asked a question in that way. So if you think about the typical client, they're hiring you because they usually have a concern that falls into one of these 4 buckets. They want you because you make their life easier, because you make them look better. That's enhancing their standing, right? Because you're helping them save money or make money through their brand, through their image, right? And also to take away some of their concerns. So that's why they want you to help them with whatever it is that you're hiring for. So I like to say, in the power tip, ask them questions about what's going on now. What currently is the issue or concern you can help them with, and how does working with you solve their problem? Here's an interesting little twist on that. I would even ask them, if they understand, you've given them enough time to understand exactly what you do, I might say, so based on what you've learned about what I can do for you so far, how do you see me being able to help you? Yes, it's a nice twist because it really takes you out of feeling salesy, and there's no manipulation there. Very often that's why we don't like selling, because we feel, oh my gosh, it's so manipulative and I have to use all this jargon and techniques. Not at all. See, I can help you do this so you can be exactly who you already are. So ask them. And when they articulate what you can do, then you could say, great! When would you like to pencil something in? Let's get started. Does that make sense? Does that work for you? Can you do this? All right. So we're coming to the close here because I want to be mindful of your time. I'd like to say, of course, use social. So use your social social media tools, research them relentlessly, website, in the news. I even like to say, who is their competition? So in other words, when you think about your ideal customer or client, there's always somebody in the market who they perceive as their competition. And perhaps your discussion is, how would you like to be perceived against this person or this entity? What would you like me to help you do? What do you stand for? What's your image, your message, your values? How can working with me help bring that forth for you? Make sense? All right. So I have some gifts for you. I know that this was really fast. And what I would like to do, if there is anyone here who's struggling, you don't have a sales process, maybe you're new in your business, maybe you've been in your business for a while and the same things are kind of not working, I am willing to walk with you and kind of put my magnifying glass on what you might be doing in your business. So remember this? This, of course, is for, I saw very few hands go up. So if you are struggling with any of these things, knowing what to ask, knowing how to get people to lean in, really crafting the sales dialogue, I am willing to offer you a gift. And it is 1 hour complimentary of time with me. So here's how it will work. If you're interested in 1 hour of complimentary time with me, it is not a sales session. It's an opportunity for me to get my eyes on one issue that you're having right now in your business. So you'll pick one thing, the top thing, and we'll brainstorm. And we'll give you some strategies around that. What I will ask is if you have a business card, just please write a B on it for sales breakthrough session and just pass them up to me so that I can collect them before I go. And I also have business cards here, so I will leave some of these here for you so that if you'd like to get in touch with me after today, you're able to do so, because I do know that this was a really quick, it's like 30 years of sales jammed into 30 minutes. So did you, in conclusion, did we get some tools for these things today?
Yeah.
Did we talk about matching your inner and outer image so that you walk with confidence and it's resonating from within? Yes, we did. Communicating more assertively, we got some tips for that. Speech capsules, just like that clothing, right? Wearing our words. And what about being the unapologetic face of your business, representing what you do with pride? Did we get some tools for those today? Wonderful. So ladies, thank you for having me. Sharon, thank you for inviting me. I hope that I've been able to share some of the things that have helped me, because I was not a natural at this. I had to really take it apart, dissect it, and learn. And I was lucky that I had good people along the way that